I think someone just set off fireworks in the middle of the day. I guess the 4th of July is a week away. Okay, there's no intro. I'm setting up a YouTube channel to share my sewing because where I live, there's not a lot of people that sew, I don't think. And if there is, I'm going to find them. But I know there's a lot of people that I watch on YouTube in England. And I'm in Texas. So there's a large space between me and the people that I'm interested in. And I think YouTube's probably a good way to get into the sewing community since there's not really one here where I live that I know of. I could be totally wrong. I don't leave the house very often. So let's get to it. Okay, so this is what I'm working with. And I know this is the worst angle in the world, but I literally have my camera propped up on my futon so I can get an overhead shot-ish. So I'm going to make this new look pattern. What is this? 6284, and I'm going to do version B. I have a version D. I think it's version D. I can't find it. I went to go look for it. And I made it a size too big. So it's too big under the armpits, and I don't love to wear it. I mean, it's nice. It's good to put it around the house, but I don't love to wear it because it's too big, and I don't like to go out in it. So I'm going to try to make another one a size smaller. And then hopefully, I'm thinking because the gathers here under the yoke, it won't be too small in the bust if I go down a size because then it's too big in the armpits if I go by my measurements. And I've got all these scraps and I'm thinking I'm going to make the sleeves, these little sleeves, out of this purple flowers. I think I have enough. If I don't, I'll just make some adjustments. But I think I have enough. And then the rest of it out of this purple swirly stuff that I've got here, which is actually quite nice. I hope you can see that. I hope it's in focus. Guess if it's not, I'll learn my lesson. So yeah, I'm just going to cut out, well, I'm going to drag out all the pieces. I'm not going to make you watch that because that's no fun. And it's going to take me about 20 minutes to figure it out. So I'll see you when I've got everything on the fabric. So I've had to squidge my sleeve out of what little fabric I had left here. And I had to just kind of fold it. So I've got a few inches, hope you can see that, a few inches where I folded it up, it's probably 4. So I won't have the same fullness, but honestly, I think it'll be fine. Because it's not like it's a cap sleeve, so it's not like my arm's not going to fit. So it should be perfectly okay. It just probably won't have that poof that it would have. But since I don't have a reference, because the other one I made was sleeveless, then it should be okay. So I've just changed the angle up a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing, because I didn't want to turn my fabric around. I found this white, it's just a cotton. I honestly don't know where it came from, but it was in my drawers, and I figured that can't be so bad, because it's just the yoke. I couldn't get it out of the purple, which really bummed me out, but it's not gonna stop me. And honestly, I feel like it'll complement the white on the sleeve well enough. So I'm gonna cut all this out. I just cut on 14. Look at that. Well, I guess we'll figure that out, huh? How far up am I? And is this the front or the back? Here's what I'll do. I may have to fake it till I make it, honestly. Because I don't have any more. I'm going to reposition my pattern piece. And I may have to fold it in further, but I think repositioning positioning is my best bet right now. I'm gonna have to fold it in further to get that 22 on there. Yeah, there we go. That should do it. I just had to bring it in quite a bit. Let's hope that that's the center. Here's what I was doing. Just folding it, lining up these pattern bits here. This is the center of the piece. And I'm totally not following the direction of the fabric the way I should be. I'm not getting it on the direction. On the grain. I'm not getting it on the grain. Which is alright. And I really should tape that, shouldn't I? Man, I messed up. Okay. Pattern Doctor is here. Good old scotch tape. Because what did we do? We cut on a 14, trying to cut on a 20. I'm sorry if you can't see what I'm doing very well. I'm left-handed and I've got the camera on my left side, so I'm sure my hand is blocking everything. That should do the job more or less. Less than more. But, oh well. We'll see what happens. Okay. Should have trimmed the pattern on this one. I guess that's one of those things where we just learn. Make a mistake and we learn. Okay. So now I've probably got 6 inches less of sleeve than I ought to. But I think we will survive. We're just going to make it up as we go along. Pin up here. I'm just going to put one pin in here, even though I've already cut there. Just to keep my pattern piece from moving around, because every time the air conditioning comes on, it gets blown about a little bit. And honestly, a lot of this is going to get caught up in the seam allowance. That's why I'm okay having a wonky piece of fabric here that I've cut all funny, because this will bother me though. I'll just pick it up in my seam allowance. Now when I cut this pattern piece out, I'm gonna have to fudge this here, aren't I? Let's see. Where is my ruler? Alright, this is how I mark fabric. I use a highlighter. I shouldn't, and I do have a fabric marking pencil, but it's white, and I can't see anything on it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to line this up, and now remember, this will all get cut up in the seam allowance. And I'm gonna just make a line, just make a straight line, and kind of roughly assume where this goes. I'm just gonna say, judging by this curve here, that it kind of, I think there, down and like that. Hopefully. This is accurate science right here. That was, I did all the math. I'm just gonna come over here and do the same thing while I've got my head in this space. So I'm just going to quickly do all the notches, my pattern pieces, sew all the tailor's tacks, review the instructions, because it's been a couple of months, at least since I sewed this. I honestly do not remember. It may have been longer. I may have sewed this last summer. I don't know. So I've gone ahead and I've gathered the top into the yoke here, and I gave it a press. Let's see. And I'm going to skip the step where it talks about putting the interfacing in, because I've done this before and I had to add the interfacing. And I just feel like it's not going to add enough structure that it's going to make a difference for me, because this is such a flowy top and it's so light. I feel like if the yoke is incredibly structured with interfacing and then the rest of the shirt isn't, it's just going to give it a weird look. And as it is, I already have a lot of different fabrics, and I'm going to have another layer of the yoke here to act as a lining, and I feel like that's going to do enough because this is a woven cotton. It is soft and it is light, but it's not incredibly drapey, so it's going to hold its form, especially once it's got stitching in. So I've stitched my lining onto my yoke lining on there, and I've ironed down the seam allowance, and I'm going to use a ladder stitch. I'm going to have my hand at a ladder stitch. I've never done it. I learned, I don't know, but I've never actually done it myself. So I'm just going to use a ladder stitch to stitch down the lining into the seam here. And actually, I'm pretty fond of that stitch. I think I'll stick with that. Usually, let's see if this will focus. Usually I just use a whip stitch, but I prefer this much more. I mean, you really truly cannot see it. It is invisible. I'll bring it up real close. I can't even focus on it that close. There. You really can't see it. I quite like that. So you can see I've got my sleeve pinned in here onto my shoulder, and because of the way I adjusted the pattern piece, I've got room here in the armpit there where there's just no fabric. And that was because I thought that the sleeve would be gathered here, but it's just eased. And so there's not nearly as much extra fabric. So about the amount that I folded out is what I'm missing here. And so what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to try to do, is to cut a rectangular piece out of my scraps and just hem it onto this and then pretend I have my whole sleeve. I'm really cheating. See, none of my notches are matching up. There's my notch in my purple fabric and my bodice, and here's the notch. Where is it? This is the notch up here on the sleeve. So that's a good 3 inches apart. But I'm just gonna paste it all together and I'm gonna make it work. Plus this will be underneath my arm. So maybe this here will pop out, the hem that goes here may come out underneath the front of my arm. But I don't think anyone's gonna notice unless I say anything about it, and I'm just not going to say anything about it. So there you go. Ta-da! Okay, I'm done. It's better. It's better going down a size. I love the sleeves. Honestly, they're a little bit longer than I thought they were going to be. But, oh look, I have a tacking stitch still in. But they're really so light, and they just have that movement that I like. That, oh, it's just so flowy. Like when the breeze comes and it'll blow it up all the way on my shoulder. I did tack down the inside hem with a top stitch. I'm not even gonna lie, I stopped reading the instructions after I sewed the side seams together, and I just stuck the sleeve in the way I know how to put a sleeve in, and it worked out fine. And sticking the extra fabric in where I had that huge like 5-inch gap worked really, really well. And honestly, I just kind of glanced at myself in the mirror. I don't think you can tell. Yeah, the first seam is like right up underneath my armpit. It's still really, really large armholes. They're like huge. They're huge. They're like this big. Like my arms aren't this big. And so I think that could just be the design. And if I make this again, I'm probably going to go down another like 2 sizes. This was a 20. And that was according to my waist. I have a 34-inch waist. And so I thought, okay, before I sewed, I cut the pattern on a 22 because it's a 44-inch bust, and I have a 44-inch bust. And I thought, well, this time I'll go down to a 34-inch waist. But I think I'm going to have to go down even further. I'll have to take a look at the pattern pieces. I may just redraft the armhole on the bodice. I may just bring that further up because it's just too big. I mean, having this as a tank top is not, it's too, there's just too much gaping. It just kind of hangs. It's also way longer. It goes all the way down to my fingertips, and that's just too much length for me personally. I want it to sit higher up. And I may take that off, but I think I'll just wear it kind of like as a throw on. Toss it over. It just does kind of look like a bag. I think I just need it to taper in at the waist a little bit more. Take out some of this volume, which I thought I would really like and would really suit me, but oh well. I'm still totally going to wear it, and I love these sleeves. And if worse comes to worse, I take the sleeves off and put them on something else. That's what I love about this. So yeah, I think next I'm going to grab some green gingham that I have and just draft a whole pattern all on its own. For that, I'm not going to follow anything. I guess I'll do that next. Bye. Can we just appreciate Sweetie? She likes to lay in here, but she likes to ignore me.